A crayfish is literally the same thing.
Crayfish.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Look, catch crayfish in UK. So, anyways, that's what he was going to go pick up. Basically, crawdads. If anybody knows what a crawdad is.
That's not a crawdad. A crawdad's a immature frog.
No, it's not.
Undeveloped for a crawdad.
A crawdad has claws. That's like a
Oh,
what are you
see,
talking? You're talking about a
I have
tadpole.
no. Yeah, that too.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Talk with Big Jim podcast.
Guess what, motherfucker?
Some of the information you are about to hear, some may find disturbing.
I don't know who gave them this or who gave them the clearance. On the crotch.
Oh my lord.
Right there.
Can we Google that?
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then I fucking stumbled down a dark hole and I love it.
Great cake parties. If I'm going to believe anybody's bullshit, I'm going to believe mine.
It sounds not politically correct, but
You two motherfuckers need Jesus.
Welcome back to the Boat Talks with Big Jim podcast. We are your hosts. I am Bo, and of course, joined with me is the big man himself, Big Jim.
I'm Jim.
We have some very interesting episodes, or stories, excuse me, to tell. What'd you think?
I like them. That's what I'm saying. I want to see the episodes you were talking about. I'm totally stuck now.
Oh, it's a good one, folks. Trust me. I had this man tripping with let's see, hauntings. What was in here? Hauntings, cults, murder, basically like a mini Bermuda Triangle.
A plethora of
it's
just
so
shit.
much in just
Yeah,
one
confusing.
episode. So I hope it's very, very interesting, and that's what we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it very interesting part 1.
And it has to do with aliens.
Yeah, there's some aliens in there. Well, he thinks.
It's gotta be, dude.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
But real quick before we get started, we got lit the fuck up on YouTube comments.
Yeah, I was
On
very
the
surprised.
Delphi murders.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't set out to do that story any injustice. I mean, hell, we were just repeating it like everybody else, putting our
Literally.
spin on it. And I mean,
And we got shitted on, man. I mean, one person even was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm glad you guys are covering this, but why don't you pronounce their names correctly?"
yeah,
And I think at the beginning of the episode, I even said, "Don't expect me to pronounce these names correctly." I'm not that big
Hey.
on pronunciations, folks.
look, and you guys got to realize, yes, sometimes we cover some serious stories, but we're not trying to make a joke of anything, but we do try to put a comedic spin on any of the stories. We want you to laugh and get a giggle out of the shit we're talking about.
Yep, that's
So
it.
if we offended anybody, we really, really apologize. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that commented that, and they're still commenting
They're still
and
going.
still watching. It's like, hey, we're sorry. We didn't mind. We weren't set out to start, a
Yeah, we
whirlwind
ain't
of
starting shit.
no.
I mean,
But
one guy, John Smith, that's a fake name, but John
Yeah.
Smith, that guy was going in on just like
Everybody.
shit that he was saying.
Yeah.
The craziest comment though, forget the ones that are like, "Hey, you guys fucking didn't solve shit correctly or say shit correctly."
well,
look.
we know that.
Like one of them, I'm reading it right now. One of them says, "How about you get Libby's name right? German, not Germain. However, if you look on everything else, B, it says German, German, but it's pronounced Germain."
Why?
I don't know. That's just that's what she
Oh.
said. So that's just what I'm replying to. But anyways, one of the better comments that I saw out of all of this, I'm trying to pull it up. This one. Now, apparently, this guy's made a lot of fictitious comments on other YouTube pages covering this, the Delphi case. He said, my father, Dennis Ross Harmon, is the bridge guy killer of Abby and Libby.
I don't know if to believe that or not. I mean,
Neither do I.
Again, people, we're not making fun of the story. Our podcast mainly is just something you're going to skim through our podcast like everybody else. If we get a chuckle from you or a comment, that's fantastic. If you want very serious documented podcast or
Go to
something
Crime
that's
Junkie.
really Crime Junkie. Yeah.
It's not.
And, there's a lot of podcasts that will cover this in detail that will maybe satisfy you guys. We're just having fun.
Yeah, we're just bullshitting, having fun,
And we just
talking
want
shit.
you guys to have fun. So if we offended anybody or we didn't do the story justice, we apologize.
100%.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, just wanted to get that out of the way to let everybody know that they thought we were a bunch of dipshits talking online.
Well, we are,
Well,
but I mean, we make fun of the stories we talk about. That's what we speak about true crime, paranormal, supernatural shit, but it's through a comedic direction. We try to make fun, and you got to find comedy in everything. If you can't, you got to kick rocks. We're not the podcast for you.
Plain and simple. But thank you for viewing the episode. Please continue and keep commenting and keep liking. So
yeah.
But yes, this episode is going to be titled Very Interesting. This is episode 54. It is very interesting. Ghosts, aliens, murder, missing people, a plethora of stuff that we actually like and enjoy. So we hope you all enjoyed this. And you know what? If we fuck up any of these stories, or if I fuck up telling the story, just drop a comment.
Yeah. Maybe it's done on purpose.
Maybe. So please go check out our Flow page. That's flow.page/BTWBJ. And there you will find all of our links to everything, to our TikTok, to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Hell, there's even a Facebook group on there. Please go check it out. We would appreciate it very much if you can leave a 5-star review, or you can even buy us a beer. Most of the money that's using that we're there, if anybody uses that, will go towards the podcast itself. Before we were buying beers with it, but we need better equipment. We need better things. So the money spent will be spent on the podcast itself and not our selfish chubby selves buying beer. So thank you everyone for checking us out. Please enjoy a very interesting part 1 episode of Bo Talks with Big Jim. This is 3 cases that I have of unsolved missing people. Okay.
Okay.
Or missing cases, I should say. Missing cases. Number 1, Frederick Valentich. You ever heard of Frederick Valentich?
I have no clue.
All right.
But you about to tell me who he is.
So I am going to tell you. Here we go. October 21st, 1978, the Frederick Valentich incident took place. This was labeled at the time the most significant UFO sighting in Australia.
Oh, down under.
Down under, we got a bunch of little people over there, yeah. Fucking Kangaroo Jacks. This guy, Frederick Valentich, was a 20-year-old pilot. He was a member of the Royal Australian Air Force Training Corps. However, according to some reports, he was rejected twice from the RAF due to inadequate qualifications.
He sucked.
Basically.
Okay. Just say he sucked, Dad. He sucked.
He was terrible. he couldn't fly in a straight. He actually was like you. He got lost in a straight line.
It happens. I told you I'm not the only dumb fuck around here.
He was not a veteran pilot nor a commercial pilot. Dude was just wanting to fly planes. He just likes flying planes. It's just well, if you get lost, that's probably why. If you're not fucking trained for it.
Well, that's just it. Was he in a flight simulator? Because if he got lost in a flight simulator, that motherfucker deserves to be grounded. Period.
You can't even put him in a bus.
No.
Frederick's father said his son was a huge believer in UFOs, unidentified flying objects, or whatever the new term is, UFAs. Or unidentified flying aircraft.
Everything's changing.
Yeah, all the acronyms are changing now.
Everything. It doesn't even make sense anymore. I'm just gonna shut up or something, and that's difficult for me to do.
It's very difficult for me. Even though he was a big believer in UFOs, he had a quote fear of encountering them while on the flights. No shit. If I see anything flying towards me, also, I'd be shitting bricks.
Well, I mean, it could be a bird. I mean, those what caught aren't birds, are highly high in as far as
Altitude.
as far as what causes airplanes to crash.
Oh, I'm sure.
The number is up there. It's like in the top 1 or 2, if not
it has to
one.
be.
Yeah.
So he would had a fear of UFOs. Now keep that in mind. On this day that he disappeared on October 21st, he was flying a single-engined Cessna 182L on the Bass Strait. Basically, he was traveling from one point of Australia from Moorabbin Airport in Melbourne, Australia, and he was on his way to Kings Island, which is about halfway to Tasmania, excuse me. Now, there are some conflicting reports. There's one where it said Frederick told 2 different officials prior to the flight that he was going to pick up friends. On the other occasion, just before takeoff, he stated that the flight was for collecting a shipment of crayfish, and that's why he was leaving.
Crayfish or crawfish?
According, well, what I read was cray. It might be craw. I don't know. They say shit differently over there. They're literally a day ahead of us, so I'm sure they got some kind of language that we don't know about.
Probably. Well, what the fuck's a crayfish?
I don't know. We can pull it up. A crayfish is literally the same thing. It's
crayfish.
It's the same thing. Look, catch crayfish in UK. So, anyways, that's what he was going to go pick up. Basically, crawdads. If anybody knows what a crawdad is.
That's not a crawdad. A crawdad's an immature frog.
No, it's not.
Undeveloped for a crawdad.
A crawdad has claws. It's like
Oh.
What are you talking? You're talking about a tadpole.
Yeah, that too. I told you I didn't have Google in high school. I'm not an astrophysicist. I'm just an asshole.
I can't believe you just confused a tadpole for a crawdad.
I did.
According to reports, however, when he was going to, for one of the 2 conflicting reports that said where he was going was a lie. Kings Island Airport didn't even know that Frederick was on a trip to their airport. So they couldn't make a log of, okay, we have this 182L Cessna coming in at this time, because he never said anything to anybody.
But I thought you're supposed to do that prior to flight. You
Right.
got to check in and do your
course.
log and
everything.
Okay.
You got to do all that. So when they looked, didn't see anything. At about 6:19 p.m. on the 21st, while flying between 5,000 to 8,000 feet above in the atmosphere, in the air, Frederick reported to traffic control at about 7:12 that his plane engine began to cough and idle. Shortly thereafter, the radio traffic from Frederick came through, claiming that he had just seen a UFO and it was following him. It was described as a large metallic object with green illuminated and, quote, moving at a high speed, illuminated lights and moving at a high speed.
Total UFO.
It has to be a UFO.
So regular UFO.
Right?
Okay.
That's the thing that they say. Frederick then stated on a recorded message saying this, quote, "It's not an aircraft."
What is it, a tic-tac?
That's a tic-tac-toe?
Yeah.
Now, just after that, the radio traffic cut out. Traffic control reported that there was no other aircrafts in the area. Almost immediately after the report, for 5 days, officials searched for the missing pilot. A nearly 1,000 square mile perimeter over 4 days and came up with nothing. The Australian Department of Transportation was unable to determine the cause of the quote-unquote crash because they couldn't really find it. That's what they eventually label it in a plane incident. They determine that it's a crash because they go right into the ocean and bye-bye.
Yeah, it's not going to be recovered.
No, hell no, not in the fucking deep-ass oceans. But then 5 years later, 1983, an engine cowl flap came from a Cessna 182L. The same type of plane that Fred flew washed ashore on another island called Filders Island. Now, this is one of the most popular theories that they came up with, and you're going to lose your shit when you hear about it. One of the most popular theories came in 2013, many years later, by retired United States Air Force pilot James McGaw, astrophysicist Wayman Fak, Phak. It's not fuck, it's Fak.
Fuck him.
Wayman Fak, and here we go. Paranormal investigator Zach Baggins.
What? What's he have to do with it?
Just wait. The trio met while on tour at Zach's Haunted Museum. A story between James and Wayman were brought about because they work with air. One's an astrophysicist and the other one's a retired pilot, and they're talking about certain things. And I believe in one of his rooms, there's something to do with a pilot. So they had a conversation and Zach overheard. All three
in the haunted museum.
The haunted museum.
Okay.
All three believed that Frederick had entered what was known as the Devil's Gyrator. This is a phenomenon. Just hold on, it gets better. I don't know how they came up with this or who came up with the fucking name. This is a phenomenon where the pilot reaches an altitude rapidly, causing the control stick to gyrate uncontrollably. Having the nose of the plane facing up and the tail facing down, the Devil's Gyrator has made people vomit uncontrollably, defecate body acid, and in some cases with women, due to the G-force, have had partial uterus detachments.
God damn.
And if you believed any of that, you should probably apply to become a pilot as well.
No, I mean... So it's not right.
No, that's something that I made up. It was funny. I thought it would be funny.
Well, you see those G-force videos of them guys that are just like, fuck yeah.
Just go out. But no, seriously, James McGaw and a real paranormal investigator, Joe Nickel, believed that Frederick entered what was known as a graveyard spiral. This is a sensory illusion when pilots become disoriented, partially due to losing track of the horizon. A graveyard spiral is caused when a pilot attempts to climb when the wings are banked and the plane is descending. So basically, he's going down so fast that he's trying to pull, and it just starts spinning like this. This results in a rapid increase in speed of the descent, and similar to water spiraling down a drain. And to this day, Frederick has never been found.
And not that it's going to make a difference, but where are the coordinates to that place? Where is that place as far as, compared to Sydney, Australia, to where the Outback is? Is there a specific?
I'll tell you right now. So for everybody just listening, excuse me, he left from Melbourne, right?
Right.
And he was going halfway to Tasmania. The island in which he was trying to get to is here. This is King Island, excuse me. So this is where he was trying to get to. Now, it didn't say specifically which part of King Island. It just said King Island, but it's literally between both places.
That doesn't look very far in between each other. Tasmania and Melbourne. No.
But this is where he was trying to get to. So, and this is called the Bass Strait, which is where he lost. So exactly how far this is, I guess we can try and look.
I'm just curious. Maybe, how the Bermuda Triangle is between Miami and the Bahamas.
Right.
And it's just, even that doesn't look like there's a certain distance that it just doesn't seem like you could fly so fast that
fast.
How the hell you
You said fast.
Did I? Yeah. How the hell do you get lost?
So that's just the first guy. That's Frederick. Now this is going to be case number 2.
In Australia?
This is in the States. This is actually in Oklahoma. Now this is a family that you may have heard about, but again, unsolved mystery. Kind of. It is somewhat. Here we go. Number 2. The Jamison family.
Whiskey.
October 8th. And this also happened in October of 2009. His case, Frederick's, happened in October of 1987.
Yeah.
So maybe October is a little...
Who knows?
This was at Eufaula, Oklahoma. The Jamison family was reported missing. Father, Bobby Dale Jamison, 44 years old. Mother, Sherilyn Jamison, 40 years old. And daughter, Madison Stormy Star Jamison. I mean...
Yeah, hey, you know what? Hell. I can't say shit about people's names.
I mean, that's kind of setting that girl up for a specific life there, folks.
Yeah.
Next
Involving
to the
a
stage.
pole. Coming at you. Get
Coming
a
at
2
you
for 1
live.
special.
Don't forget the fish and chips, people. The family was last seen by one man who lived in the mountains. He told authorities that he, quote, only seen the family and no one else with him. According to articles and BuzzFeed Unsolved, the family were in an area to purchase 40 acres worth of land to live. Also to live in a storage container, which they had already been living in on their previous lot of land. So with that in mind, they kind of already sound like some doomsday preppers.
Oh yeah, just preppers. Or
You know,
just people
just
who want land. A lot of space to just develop a homestead.
maybe.
But Oklahoma's flat.
Oh yeah, I know, and it's humid as shit. So living in a
Yeah.
container wouldn't be fun.
No.
October 16th, a break in the case occurs. This is now 8 days later. An hour away from their home in Latimer County, hunters found the Jamisons' pickup truck about a quarter of a mile from their last known location. Inside of the truck, these items were found: Bobby's wallet, Sherilyn's purse, a cell phone, and $32,000 in cash.
What? Oh, because they were buying the land. Okay.
They could have been buying the land, right?
Yeah.
Bobby and Sherilyn, however, were collecting disability checks at the time. I don't think they're saving up 32 grand of just disability checks.
And what year is this?
2009.
Oh. Okay.
That's different kind of money back then.
No. I'm just what type of activity this guy might have been involved with.
Let's get into some of those theories.
Oh, okay.
Just
okay. Sorry.
Just a few months prior, Bobby was actually involved in a car accident, thus causing him to collect disability checks. Sherilyn's mom, Connie Kokatan, that's a cool last name, told police that when the pickup truck was found, she did not know anything about any settlements of money for Bobby, explaining $32,000.
Yeah, that's a pretty good chunk of change.
And they also, inside of the truck, they found a malnourished family dog named Macy, still alive. Police also discovered on Bobby's cell phone a photo of Madison, which they believed to be the last photo taken the day that the family went missing. And it's just a regular photo of her with like the background of trees and stuff and wilderness in the back. That was it. The truck showed no signs of damage or struggle whatsoever. The former Latimer County Sheriff's Israel, and this is where it gets kind of confusing with his last name. It's either Beauchamp or Beachamp. Beauchamp. It's Beauchamp, right? Beauchamp. Yeah, okay. Israel Beauchamp said this about the truck. Quote, I think they were forced to stop and go out of the truck to meet with someone they recognized. And I think they either left willingly or by force, end quote.
They couldn't tell around in the surrounding area of the vehicle how disturbed it might have been? Or those are just clues that they're not? Okay.
Well, that's the thing, because most of this, for this particular story, was on BuzzFeed Unsolved. And the way the information that they found, there was nothing disturbed around the area. Like there was no tire marks, like like they slammed on the brakes. It just looked like someone pulled off the side of the road, and that was it.
No footprints, nothing.
Not very many, no. I mean, just a couple, but nothing like significant where it was like, oh, this looks like a different shoe print and a different shoe print and a different shoe print. It was just a couple of shoe prints, but it wasn't very muddy in this area either, from what they said on BuzzFeed. However, going to your footprint theory, police discovered the GPS within the truck. Now, this was the old TomToms before the GPS was built in. And the last known point of destination or starting point from until where they were
origin.
Thank you. I go to college and this is what comes out of my mouth.
Origin.
Yeah. Fuck. What they found was a half mile up from where the police actually discovered the truck. What they found there was a plethora of footprints from a young girl, a child, excuse me, to several adult footprints, all different patterns. But they couldn't determine who went where or who did what. October 17th, over 300 people, both police and volunteers, joined in a search party. However, they were unsuccessful. After this, the case went cold. Now, mind you, this was in 2009.
Yeah. I mean, it's 11 years ago, but I mean,
But then, 4 years on that day that they went missing, on October 16th, 2013, deer hunters were walking a trail and they discovered partial skeleton remains of 2 adults and 1 child.
Together?
This was less than 3 miles from where the family's pickup truck was discovered 4 years prior.
And then what?
And then, around this area, again, they found shoes, clothing, adult teeth, 1 adult leg bone, which I believe was the fibia, and 1 arm bone, which I believe was the humerus. Those are both the bigger bones of your leg and your arm. Now,
so if that's all they found, how are they determining that it was all 3 of them?
Because
have they determined it was all 3 of them?
Yes, they have. Dr. Joshua Lantern of the Oklahoma State Medical Examiner said there was no evidence of trauma, though it couldn't be fully ruled out due to the incomplete remains. Not only that, end quote. Not only that, but they're in the wilderness. You got bobcats, you got mountain lions, you got bears, you got critters that are running around everywhere. So whatever happens, they're going to get picked apart no matter what.
Yeah, but they're still close by. They're in their immediate surroundings. So
3 miles.
Point is, and they're together. They found them legitimately together. The bodies, the remains were legitimately together. Okay, that's not a huge suspicion.
That's a suspicion to me because that could indicate like a hit or something, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting at. So what the hell was the dad involved with?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought I'm curious. Sorry. No. Jumping ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. It's just, it is strange because they don't know how or what caused them to die. On the official report of Lantern, he declared that the family had died, quote, under suspicious circumstances, end quote.
You think?
Yeah, no shit, guy. I'm glad you're getting paid that much money.
You smart.
Now the story gets a little stranger after this. Theories unfolded here. First theory, number 1. Just a few days prior to the family's disappearance, Bobby spoke with his pastor and told him that the house was, quote, haunted.
What?
End quote. The day before, the family was last seen on a neighbor's security camera, and it does get creepy from what BuzzFeed was saying on here. Bobby and Sherilyn were seen walking in a trance-like state while loading their truck. Throughout the footage, the couple would pause, stare at one another, at the ground, or at a blank space for multiple minutes and not move.
Are you shitting me, dude?
This is not no. This is what they were saying.
Can you see it? Do you have video of that?
I don't have the video of it, but they did a dramatization on BuzzFeed, and just the dramatization alone looked creepy as fuck.
Oh wow, okay. And where was the baby? Where was the child when they were doing all this?
They didn't see the baby in the footage, so I believe they just speculated the baby was in bed. Because
Or already in the truck with the dog.
In the truck. Yeah, possibly. Because
Okay.
they didn't really state what. Number 2, some believe that it was a murder-suicide. Amongst the items in the truck was a hate letter by Sherilyn to Bobby. The letter was almost 11 pages long. When I heard that, that kind of reminded me of the ransom letter from the little girl.
John Bonet.
It was like a 6-page letter saying that how much money that they want and stuff. Like, it just didn't make sense.
Yeah, they were real precise.
Very precise. And this was somewhat the same thing. It was almost 11 pages long. The only person to dispute this theory was Sherilyn's mom, Connie. She told police, quote, there was no way that they just let anything happen to Madison unless something happened to them first, end quote.
I agree. Or
so
$32,000, dude. You said $32,000 in cash.
$32K cash. And the mom also believes that nothing like a murder suicide could have happened because Bobby and Sherilyn were unbelievably the most respectful parents to their daughter. They were the poster people for parents to their children or child, excuse me.
I was gonna say how much of the remains were actually studied to determine if there was more.
There wasn't
nothing.
There wasn't very much remains found. They didn't find a skull. They didn't find like vertebrae. They found literal like pieces from what they said on BuzzFeed, and I'm just quoting BuzzFeed. An arm, a leg, bone fragments, shoes, clothing. That's it.
But they were to determine all that it was 3 people.
There was 3 people, and it was determined that it was the family. But here's to me, the suspicious part is, how can you determine that's 3 people if it's just fragments?
That's my point. That's exactly my point. Did they do a DNA extraction? Did they do a mitochondrial match? Did they do any of that?
I don't know.
Nothing.
This is what the official report says from Dr. Fuckstick. I can't remember his name now.
And what is this case called? Like, if we were to look it up.
Dr. Joshua Lantern, the Jamison family.
Jamison family.
Yeah, okay. Jamison, Jamison. If you want to look it up, it's all there. It's a trippy and crazy story, but it only gets crazier.
All right, I'll shut up.
We got 2 more theories for this family. You ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
Theory number trice.
Uh-huh.
Some suspect that Bobby's father, Bob Dean Jamison, murdered the family.
For what reason?
Here's why. Bobby, filed a restraining order on Bob after Bob had, quote, threatened to kill his family on November of 2008 and in April of 2009. Don't forget, April 2009 is just 6 months prior to the family going missing.
Yeah.
Bobby stated in the report that his father had hit him with a car and that his father was also on meth at the time and that he was struggling with a meth addiction.
Okay, wait. How old is the son?
44.
And the father was a meth addict?
Yeah.
How the fuck? Wow.
Hey man, you
He's
should
a late bloomer, huh?
He's a late bloomer, man. You should know these rednecks go crazy for some of that good old.
I understand that
good old book of sugar. That crank.
Yeah.
That yeehaw, motherfucker.
Yeah, battery acid.
So that's another theory, is that the dad was just high on meth and freaked the fuck out and wanted to kill the family.
So he went delusional and massacred his family, but didn't take the fucking money and left the dog to starve.
Right.
Okay. Where's the dad now?
You're making sense. They don't know.
Oh, he's missing too?
As from what I know, they didn't catch him. They questioned him, but they didn't. Okay. They didn't do anything else. But after that, I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
All right. Here's another theory. You're gonna really love this one.
All right. Aliens.
No. Might as well be. It's a cult.
For 3 people
A cult killed this
that killed them.
couple. Yes.
Okay. Again, it all leads to the money. Why would somebody do something like that and not take money?
I don't know. Maybe it was a
Okay.
personal killing. Maybe they didn't want to get naked with other people. I don't know. They want to
All
jerk
right.
off on a goat stone, goat
I don't know.
head. I don't know.
Okay, so was there damage to the truck?
0 damage.
Did it break down, run out of gas, get a flat tire? Nothing. It just
Nothing.
was pulled over.
From what they said in the story, in the YouTube video, it looked as if someone pulled off the side of the road, got out, and left it.
So they left a dog, and that's people freak out more about animals
Yeah.
than people.
No shit.
And you're telling me somebody left a dog alone. Nobody found it until it was almost dead, and there was still $32,000 cash.
Cash.
It was aliens, dude. There's no fucking
They just
cult. Was there known cults
they
there?
just blipped them up. Well, so that's the thing, right? On an episode of Disappeared, a friend of Connie's, Nikki Shenhold, was interviewed. Now, this is where it gets kind of weird. She told, Nikki told the show Disappeared that a woman called and said that she was a part of a white supremacy cult / group. They used both terms. Who had, quote, a hit list within this group. After seeing this list, the woman searched the internet, and upon research of seeing this list, she found one of the missing people being Sherilyn on this list. So she's like, okay, Sherilyn Jamison, how can I find her? Internet search, bling, 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 missing person, family, missing daughter, missing. She then notifies Connie and is like, listen, I'm a part of this group, which they didn't state specifically. I'm a part of this group, and I found this list, and your daughter's name was on it.
Okay.
So that's one part. Another one of this story is that they also found, while searching their home, a, quote, witch Bible, end quote.
Okay, what is a witch Bible?
I don't...
Like the Necronomicon, is that what it's called?
That's the one that's the isn't that the Book of Satan or something like that?
Yeah.
It just said specifically that they found a, quote, witch Bible in the home. Now, mind you, don't forget, they were also living in a shipping container on another part in Oklahoma.
I mean, that's strange enough, especially if they're, okay, say they were preppers. All right, let's go back to that. If they were preppers and you built an underground bunker, or it was going to go underground, you modified it, you get it towards a livable structure, you have all this cash, you come across something that you shouldn't have, being a prepper, got involved with some, supremacy type characters, how, when, wherever. So again, who leaves $2,000, $32,000 in a truck with a dog?
So that's what they found inside a witch Bible. And then on the outside of the storage container, they also found graffiti with a lot of misspelt words, which leads me to believe it was probably a cult full of rednecks. On the container, it said, I'm probably part of them.
You part of that cult, kid?
I think so. They found, end quote, damn it. They found this written on the side of the storage container. Quote, 3 cats killed to date by BUY people in this area. Witches don't like their THERE black cat killed. End quote.
So you mean they're illiterate?
Yes.
But buy was purchasing instead of buy somebody.
Right.
There's them over there. It's them there. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, if you tell me this is a bullshit story and it has anything to do with Tiger King, I'm gonna fucking hang up.
It is not. It's not. I promise. Okay. That's the last known information that I got. That's all.
Okay.
That's what I got from that story.
So this shit ain't got nothing to do with Tiger King.
Nothing to do with Tiger King.
No Joe Dirt or Joe. What was his name? Juan Exotico, whatever the hell his name. All right. I'm all right.
No.
Okay.
It's not Joe Exotic.
Okay.
So that's the
Oh,
last.
Joe Exotic. Okay.
Yeah, Joe Exotic. That's the last bit of information that I found on the family. Now there's no. Again, I haven't fully finished this part. I'll put an update in the description and everything else. But as far as I know, the bone fragments, the clothes, and everything else was the family's. They don't know how they died. It was just a suspicious situation or conditions.
Yeah. Okay.
Again, as far as I know, with the Jamison family, they just died under suspicious circumstances.
And to date, there's no resolution. There's no suspicion. It's just cold, left alone.
Cold, left alone. As far as I know, as far as I know, and well, we'll talk about that when we do the intro. But yeah, as far as I know, nothing. So now all three of these stories that I'm telling you all have something crazy into them, and I believe I saved the best part for last.
All right.
Okay, this is the what?
Don't fuck with me, dude. If I'm telling you, if it has something to do with Joe Exotic, I'm hanging this bitch up.
It doesn't, I promise.
Okay.
This is story number 3, the third unsolved story of a probably 3-parter that I'm going to talk about. Story number 3 is Branson Perry on April 11th, 2001 in Skidmore, Missouri. This is a very small town. Okay. So small that it had, in the 2019 census, 189 people living there.
Wow.
So your son's high school graduation will have more people than this town.
I don't know about now, but
this town is no stranger to murders, and it might even be a Chub Talks episode, because this town has one of the most famous unsolved murders of I guess you can call him a town bully, of Ken Rex McElroy. And if that doesn't if that doesn't,
I think I know it. Some old dude.
Yeah, he was an older guy.
He was a total neighborhood, like town bully.
That's what they called him.
Yeah.
So this is one of the most famous cases within this town. So I'm not even going to get in. I'm not. No,
we're not getting into that story. This is a different story.
This is a completely different story. Same town.
Wow. Okay. Oh, wow.
One of the sites that I was looking up all this stuff, they gave 4 examples, including this one, of the people that have been murdered and is still unsolved.
So people don't talk in that town at all.
Oh, you're better off going to prison. You'll get more talkers in prison than this town.
Wow. All right.
Branson Perry was a 20-year-old blonde hair, skinny kinda kid. He was like fat skinny. Not at all. Fat skinny. You ever heard of fat skinny?
No, I never heard of fat skinny.
You never heard of fat? Like people can just throw down like 7 cheeseburgers and still weigh like 130 pounds? Fat skinny?
I guess if that's what that's called. Yeah.
Yeah, fat skinny.
That's just a tapeworm. So I call that a tapeworm in their fucking stomach.
Now he at no point in time was your worst nightmare to come across in a dark alley. Right? He wasn't tall. He was about 5. I believe one of the reports said he was either 5'7" or 5'8". Average height.
Small dude.
Yeah, small dude. Wasn't big. I didn't get a specific weight on him, but he probably wasn't any bigger than your middle child, your youngest child. So probably 140, 150 pounds.
Yeah.
Skinny looking dude. And again, I'll post pictures online of all of these cases and everything else.
All right.
But he was known around the small community. He had many small jobs. He was trying to get into the military prior to doing these small jobs, but because he had a heart condition, he couldn't go to the military. So instead, he became an experienced roofer. At one point in time, he worked at a traveling petting zoo, and he was even a black belt in Hapkido.
All right. What the fuck is Hapkido?
Hapkido is a Korean martial arts that uses joint locks and self-defense striking techniques. He's a black belt. So keep that in mind. Mind you,
Okay.
So it's basically jujitsu standing up and then fucking, taekwondo kind of stuff.
Well, it's not so they focus on pressure points.
Joint locks and self-defense striking. So like counterpunching.
Okay. So it's really a defensive martial arts.
Right.
Okay.
Black belt. Keep that in mind. April 11th, while living with his dad, Bob Perry, articles stated that Bob was in the hospital at this time, but no specific reason as to why. While cleaning up and preparing the house for his father's return home, a friend, Jenna Crawford, a quote, good friend of Branson, was there as well, helping him clean. She's such a good friend that she was coming over, staying the night. Nothing sexual, but coming over, staying the night, hanging out, making food. She would even take several showers there at some point and just really helping him out as a friend would.
Okay.
At about 3 p.m. after coming out of the shower one day, she watched Branson walk to the shed. When she asked him, where are you going? He replied with, I'm going to put away the jumper cables and then run into town for a bit. I'll be back in just a few, end quote. 2 other people were on the property at this time. They were both mechanics fixing Bob's alternator. 3 people did not see Branson leave the shed. They saw him walk in, and then that was it. Now, I did listen to an episode of Crime Junkie for this one specifically, and they had also very good episode. They had also mentioned that one of the mechanics was in the house going through the refrigerator when she came down from the steps. And now no one knows who these other 2 guys are. They're just the local mechanics. Like, hey, I need you to come over to my house, fix my alternator. I'll pay you $100. That's it. Don't know who these guys are, but they are, person of interest.
Okay.
Many articles suggest that he was abducted This was due to his van and belongings being left behind, much like the last case that we just discussed. 6 days later, Branson was officially reported missing by his grandmother, Joanne Stinnett. When police first searched his home of his belongings, nothing was out of place. It was just as if he, quote, up and disappeared, end quote.
How is that a famous line, up and disappeared?
That's a great question. I have no idea. Anytime someone goes, well, it just sounded like he just up and disappeared. I don't know, man. He just walked down the street. Next thing you know, he just up and disappeared. But I got a whole case full of beer if you guys want some. You guys shooting that documentary?
You're fucking stupid.
Now this is another crazy thing too. Right. So the police got the official report. They went to go search the house. On the first search of the home, none of his belongings were out of place like I had mentioned, and the police searched the shed. Now keep in mind, he, quote, went to the shed to put away jumper cables. Sheds aren't normally that big. You've seen my back shed. If there's tools hanging somewhere, well, when the walls are done and shit too, if anything's hanging anywhere, you're not going to miss it. True. They go into the shed. There's no jumper cables to be found. None.
Okay.
It wasn't until the second search, 2 weeks later, that the cables were found hanging in plain sight.
Okay. Look, I live in a household full of people that can't find shit in front of their face. So whoever tried investigating and couldn't find jumper cables is not highly suspicious to me, dude. It really isn't.
I don't know, dude.
All right.
I don't
Okay.
know.
Go ahead. Your family's not. Yeah, they are. They just can't find shit.
Now, there were a few suspects in the case. However, none of them made a splash in a lake like Jack Wayne Rogers. Buckle up, because this motherfucker is insane.
The guy
The guy.
who is suspicious of hurting this other guy?
Yes.
Okay.
2 years after Branson disappeared, this is now 2003, Jack was raided by the FBI in Operation Candyman. It's a pretty dope-ass cool name. The FBI found some very interesting online posts made by Bugger Butt.
Bugger butt?
Bugger Butt.
I don't want to know why he's called that.
Buggerbutt. Bugger Butt.
All right.
That's his online name.
All right.
If you can guess what some of the stuff they found online was, child pornography was in there.
Okay.
If you guess death and torture and all this other stuff, that was all in there. Now, if you didn't,
So sadistic and child abduction and child.
very
Did it
sadistic,
have-
very
Okay.
sadistic. Now, if you didn't think that was bad, again, motherfucker was crazy. Buckle up. He was also charged with felony assault after a failed gender reassignment surgery
On who?
on a person.
Okay.
He wasn't qualified for this, seeing as he's not a surgeon, right?
Duh. Yeah.
He just felt, quote, anointed enough to do it. I don't know, man. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm
So
gonna
the
chop
person
and
died?
snip. They almost did. He couldn't stop the bleeding, so the person was hemorrhaging. They were able to like pack it, and then the person ran to the police and was like, "Hey, man, this motherfucker cut off my dick. I asked him if he could do it for me." Here's the kicker of this whole thing for this
Okay,
particular part, right?
All right.
He removed another man's penis during this whole thing,
Mm.
and then he ate it.
Shut up, dude. I'm telling you, you can't be fucking hyping me up and telling me bullshit stories because I'm gonna hang up this fucking computer.
It's not bullshit. I promise you. I'll link everything to this story, and everything that I'm telling you right now is what is written in these cases.
Why did he do that?
He ate it.
Why?
Fuck, he's just crazy.
So what happened to the guy who he cut it off?
He went to the police and they ended up getting him on this whole failed thing. Now, if you're asking yourself, well, what brings him into this whole situation with Branson?
Well, Branson was probably okay. Go ahead.
Let me finish with this first. The way he was even to get someone into his home to cut their dick off to begin with.
Craigslist.
Yes, he was a quote cost-effective surgeon.
All right.
Listen, man, I cut your dick off half price. Now it ain't gonna look the prettiest, but I promise it ain't gonna be there by the time I'm done.
No, it won't be. And then he ate it. How many times did he do this?
Listen, dude, I don't even like eating the off-brand Dollar Tree Oreos. If I see some shit that says cost effective online, I ain't fucking going near it.
I mean, hell, it's not uncommon nowadays. And I'm thinking 2021 going into 2022. People Google that shit and they think they're fucking Google
Funny?
doctors,
Yeah,
YouTube
no.
doctors. Yeah. So it's not uncommon now. But back then, what would give this dude the idea?
Who the fuck knows?
Oh.
Who knows? But maybe.
Was he a cannibal?
Maybe. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
The motherfucker was a Presbyterian minister and a Boy Scout leader.
So okay, so what is the missing guy have to do with this guy?
In one of the online posts that
Okay.
people had looked through, or that the FBI had looked through, excuse me,
Mhm.
Jack posted that he killed a quote blonde hitchhiker from Skidmore, end quote. Branson is from Skidmore,
And was blonde.
and he was blonde. Now, this kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier about the Hapkido and being a black belt. That's all
Yeah.
defensive moves. If
Yeah.
someone's going to attack you, it doesn't matter. And you know just as well as I do, just jujitsu alone, you can use someone's body and flip them and then run away.
Yeah. Yeah. Basic judo move. Yeah.
Basic
Leverage.
judo, everything. So if they're using self defense striking, joint locks to defend yourself, how'd this guy overpower him? Now they didn't say specifically what this guy looked like either. So I can't tell if he was 400 pounds or if he was 40 pounds. But Jack was one of the primary people in Branson's missing case. Jack went on to say in one of his posts that he did all the above and then buried the body in the Ozarks. When questioned by the police, he claimed the posting was, quote, just a fantasy, end quote.
But no, that's kind of a precise fantasy.
That's a very precise fantasy.
Okay.
But hold on. Gets a little twisted.
I'm listening.
While under the custody of police, Jack's car was searched. Inside of the car, they found a turtle claw necklace. Now, why would that matter at all? Well, probably because when Branson went missing, he was wearing a turtle claw necklace. Now, there is such thing as circumstantial evidence. You have online posts saying, I killed a blonde hitchhiker from Skidmore, number one. Number two, you're a cost-effective surgeon, and you fantasize of torture and killing people and rape.
And he's a cannibal.
So all that circumstantial evidence being within the same town can really point a necklace to you, especially when you have a necklace that one person had when they went missing, and now it's found in a necklace similar is found in your car.
Well, I don't think that's a very sought out piece of jewelry, a turtle clawed necklace. So that kind of narrows down the suspicion, right?
Yeah. But
Okay.
Of course, all of that circumstantial evidence was not enough to act on. Jack Wayne Rogers, he went to jail for child pornography and the illegal gender reassessment surgery. Nothing about Branson going missing or circumstantial evidence looking towards that same case. The newest sheriff of this county, which I cannot think of at the moment, No Day County, Sheriff Randy Strong promised Branson's family members that they would find what happened to their son, grandson, cousin, and nephew. However, now, as of 2021, most of his family members have all died.
Are you serious?
Yes. Again, this is what I read online. Most of his family members have now all died. And we hope and pray that all three of these cases will soon one day be solved.
Yeah. And how did you come across all these three cases similar? Just pull them up?
I honestly shout out to Drinking the Kool-Aid, because they've been pulling out a lot of good missing persons cases. You know, Amanda and Cassidy, they went back and forth with missing people cases. And I'm like, that's not one that we've really covered. So let me just find something. And I went on one site, I think it's called All Things Interesting. Man.
Really?
Oh, man. Just that one article I read, I can pull 5 more.
Jeez. Okay. All Things Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, fuck. I've been getting a lot of shit through Reddit, and that's a serious rabbit hole.
Oh yeah, Reddit's you get trapped in that thing. You're not getting out of it.
I get community. What do you call that when they solicitation from communities all the time where they want me to join? I'm like, I don't even know what the hell I'm pressing right now.
So yes, that was this was episode 54.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. I think we'll probably call it that. We'll call it very interesting.
Very interesting is a good title.
Very interesting part 1.
Okay.
Please be sure to check out our flow page as mentioned in the intro. There you'll find all of our links, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, our YouTube link, so on and so forth. Thank you everybody for listening. Also, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It's annoying.
Just leave us a review. Leave us a review.
Just do that.
It could be a star, 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4. It doesn't matter.
Just leave us
Just
something.
show some interaction.
Yeah.
Just show some interaction.
Just a little some. You know what I mean? A little some. But again, thank you everybody for listening. What'd you think of those cases though? Pretty interesting.
Yeah, they just seem like they're endless though. Like I'm totally want to like look them up on my own now.
Oh, you can do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I will. Just gotta take care of your mom next real quick, and then I probably will sit here in the front room because I got the computer in the front room.
Yeah. So thank you everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Thank you for listening to episode 54. Deuces.
Not douches.